So, okay, so Len, so we have a slide of various diagnoses. We've talked about none of those on this slide. So let's start with this slide. Reactive attachment disorder. What is that?
That's a diagnosis of children who were maybe severely neglected, maybe didn't get to connect with a caretaker. We didn't really talk about the neglect, where the children don't get enough attention, they don't get food regularly or shelter, or
and this is often where parents may be drug users
yes,
or alcoholics and
maybe out for and not really paying attention
or
to
absent, being
yes,
out on the streets rather than at home.
So the child does not learn to depend on other people and kind of just take care of himself or herself from inside.
Okay, and when you're treating that, what's involved?
You have to kind of try to recreate the relationship and learn how to trust another person and kind of almost start from the beginning to establish the trust and to have the child be noticed and acknowledged.
And so as a therapist, you try to create that kind of a trust situation where they learn that some people are trustworthy?
I don't really try to create that necessarily.
Okay.
I try to just go with where the client is, where the child is, and I definitely, with all the children that I see, I want them to feel accepted as much as possible. I want them to feel like they're cherished and they're loved and they're okay the way they are, and that they don't need fixing.
Right.
Not in my office anyway.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, if there was someone who had that, definitely I'm going to be looking at. For instance, if this child is playing a lot by himself or herself and not interacting with me, I want to kind of let them take their time, and when they're ready, I'm noticing when they're starting to interact more with me, and maybe in the beginning they're just playing next to me, and then later they'll start playing with me. This is not going to be, within a week.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next few things on the slide. Oppositional defiant disorder and conduct disorder.
Yeah. So these are the more challenging diagnoses that are really, I know that parents I talk to are really struggling with that. And this sometimes is connected to bipolar and substance abuse with their parents. You see that sometimes with kids who are in foster care or being adopted, and I know that some mothers feel very badly, like they were so loving and so present for the kid, and then the kid is, if they were the foster care or adoptive family.
Well, sometimes those, as I look at them, some of them, I see that a lot of these can also involve nutrient deficiencies, because if you get elevated copper and low zinc, you can get violence, aggression, and all sorts of states that really don't have much to do with the child. They have to do with what's in their system. So some of this can be addressed if you know how to use nutrient therapy, and you address it on a physical level, and then you work on changing the patterns on an emotional level.
There's definitely a physical component here that's very, very strong, and you want to address that.
Right, okay. So then let's go back and take a look at what else is there. Attention deficit disorder, Asperger's, and eating disorders. My take on these is attention deficit disorder. I had a chiropractic neurologist that just did a show that has begun to air already, and they've identified that as an underdeveloped, a part of the brain is underdeveloped and lagging in development, and so it's nutritional, it's from poor diet, it's from deficiency of nutrients, but it also can be triggered by environmental toxins interacting with genes that the genes turn on and off at appropriate times during brain development, and if they get don't do that at the right time, then part of the brain can be underdeveloped and not be able to synchronize with the better developed parts. So that one it can be addressed, I believe, on a therapy level too, because if there is a deficiency, kids are coping with that. But that's another one that science is beginning to tell us is very much, there are a lot of causes that are easily fixable, and it's not just about this kid being a really horrible, difficult
absolutely,
child.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
It's not like they do it on purpose.
No. So some of it's physical, some of it's environmental.
Absolutely.
And some
I've
of it
seen
can
that.
be emotional in reaction to what's going on around them.
Right,